Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of NB Bass, and I'm your host, Donald Patterson, here for part 2 of this week's show, wrapping up the NBSFA Championship and just filling you in on a few other little things that are going on. Before I continue, as always, thanks go out. Fish Bomb Outfitters, Carrot Sticks Rods, Southern Yankee Baits, War Dog Lures, Northern Michigan Outfitters, Hooked on Canadian Angling, my wife and my son. And as you'll find out here shortly, especially my son this week, because he's pretty excited about something that's coming up tomorrow. Just as a final little note on the NBSFA Championship, amazing turnout, been amazing turnouts to the NBSFA season all year long. It's phenomenal to see the fields growing, people coming out, making use of entry-level boats, getting started with whatever they have available, and just getting out and enjoying the sport and being competitive. You don't, as I've said before, you don't need the biggest, fastest, baddest boat on the water to be competitive. You need heart and soul and desire to improve. And that's all it takes. And eventually you'll get there, no matter whether you're running a 25 horsepower or a 250 horsepower. If you've got the heart and the drive, you will improve and you will get your shot at being competitive. This week has been a very, how do I put this? For my young fella anyways, for Deacon, who's going on 9 years old here in another month and a half. But for my 8-year-old son, Deacon, he has been just wound tight all week. And I have one Mr. Rick Green to thank for that. Not that that's a bad thing, Rick, if you happen to be listening. I really appreciate what you're doing, and it excites me to see just how happy my boy is at the prospect. Rick invited Deacon and myself to film an episode of Backwater Casting with him. His Rogers Cable TV show, which airs here on Rogers Cable in New Brunswick. And Rick approached me Sunday at the championship after the weigh-in, and he somewhat cryptically asked me, so my young fella didn't get too excited, because it involves him taking a day off of school, and of course I had to check with my wife just to be on the safe side. And let's just say that it was a resounding yes from my wife, so I told our son, and I don't think he stopped smiling since. Now, there's a couple different reasons why he's smiling. Number one, obviously, he does enjoy going fishing. Is he quite as fanatical about it as I am? No, not yet, but he's only 8. Give him time. I'm working on it. And then the other thing is how many 8-year-olds don't love the idea of being on a TV show? So tomorrow, Thursday, I've lost track of what day of the week it is. I know it's Thursday. I can't remember the date. 22nd, I believe it is. My son and I are joining Rick Green and going out for a day of filming for an episode of Backwater Casting. And I think it's phenomenal that Rick is including someone as young as my son in something like this, because this is just going to drive home even more my son's love for being on the water. This is going to be a bragging point for him. Not that I want to raise a conceited child, but this is going to be a point of pride for him. You know, I was on TV with my dad fishing. What kid wouldn't love to say something like that, about something that their family is involved in? I was on TV with my dad fishing. I was on, TV with my mom at a horse show. Whatever your family is into, car racing, doesn't matter. So this gives me an opportunity to do something a little extra special with my son. And now that tournament season, or our main tournament season, is over, there's still a couple one-off events. Paul Dow's Thanksgiving weekend tournament. I'm not sure if there's going to be a Frosty Challenge in mid-October. But anyways, there's still a few little smaller events going on. Well, I shouldn't say that about Paul's. It's normally fairly large. But the tournament season is pretty much wrapped up. And now's a chance for me to spend some quality time focusing, especially with my son, on getting out on the water. The fall fishing in New Brunswick is just really starting to kick in. We've been fairly mild so far, and the fish haven't really started feeding heavy yet, but that's coming. That's right around the corner. And what better time to get out on the water with a young person when you know you're going to be catching quality fish. You can go fishing any time of year, and it's always a bit of a crapshoot. You may find them, you may not. But come fall, if you have any awareness of your area at all, it's normally not an issue to find them. They start stacking up, they start feeding heavy, getting ready for the long, cold winter ahead, which I can't imagine they're looking forward to any more than we are. But no, this time of year, to get out on the water with my son and do something as special as the opportunity Rick has presented us with, that means so much to me. And like I said, I just can't thank Rick enough. My son, I have a feeling he's not going to sleep a lot tonight. Apparently, when he got up this morning, I had already left for work, and I spoke to my wife, and she said he was wound up tight again this morning. So when Rick asked me and then included my son in the invitation, you folks listen to me ramble almost every week. You know I am not at a loss for words. But when Rick asked me and included my son in the invitation, I was probably as close to speechless as someone with as big a mouth as mine will ever be. So, that being said, yes, I've been bragging. I'm excited myself to get to do this with my son. So, yeah, maybe I'm bragging a little. But that being said, to each and every one of you, if you haven't taken a child fishing yet this summer, there's still some beautiful weather ahead. Beautiful fall weather. You're out on the water. It's not 30 degrees Celsius. You're not burning the skin off yourself with the reflection off the water. Beautiful, mild afternoons. Just perfect weather for being out. So what's the reason why you haven't taken a child in? Like I said, tournament season, I understand. We all get busy. We're focused on pre-fishing. We're focused on fishing our events. But at this point in time, at least for those of us who fish the NBSFA, our main tournament season is done. Find a young person, your own child, a niece, a nephew, a cousin, a friend's children. Heck, take the whole family. If they've never fished, introduce them all to it. Get them out on the water. Because at the end of the day, if something were to happen tomorrow, and I was told I could never fish a tournament again for whatever abstract reason it may be, do you think I'm going to stop fishing? People ask you every now and then, who's your favorite angler? Kevin Van Dam, Mike Iaconelli, whoever. Well, my answer's simple. He's 8 years old, about 4'2", with glasses. And so whether I can ever fish another tournament or not, I'm still going to fish every year with my favorite angler. And with the season winding down, you're running out of time, if you haven't already done so this year, to take a young person fishing. And I know not everybody has kids directly involved in their life. So if you don't have a child in your life, just take somebody new. I mean, kids are an experience you'll never forget. But guess what? You introduce an adult to bass fishing for the first time. You hook them in, and I can still remember hooking my first smallmouth. I can remember hooking my first largemouth. I can remember taking my wife fishing and her hooking her first smallmouth. So it's an exciting experience either way. I like seeing the kids because that introduces them to a lifetime of enjoyment, a lifetime of being involved in our sport. And to me, that's priceless. But introduce any newcomer, young or old, to our sport. And trust me, it'll be an experience you'll never forget. And it'll be an experience they never forget. So, like I said, especially here in the northern part of the world, here north of the border in Canada and in the northeastern U.S. or the entire northern U.S., our season's winding down. I don't know what the regulations are everywhere, but our season's winding down. The warm weather months are sadly coming to an end. Get out there and make the most of what we have left before we see that dirty white stuff and those sub-zero temperatures and all that stuff that we don't want to think about just yet. Get out there and make the most of it. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to cut this segment a little bit short today. I don't think I'm going to fill the full 15 minutes. I could carry on, but I'm just going to keep rambling and repeating the points I've already made. So rather than beat your ears to death, I just want to thank you all for your time. I want to thank you all for your support throughout our tournament season, for your support of the show, just for everybody's support and encouragement in general. I really do enjoy doing what I do. I enjoy being able to speak to people, to maybe mentor a few people. I've received some phenomenal compliments from a couple anglers who listen to my show and have taken some of the advice I've given to heart, and they feel it served them well. And that means the world to me, because as I said when I started this, if I can help even one person feel like they've improved themselves as an angler, then I've done my job. I'm not getting paid for doing this. I don't go looking for money from any sponsors for advertisements. I just like coming on and possibly being able to help somebody. So, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, my name is Donald Patterson. This is NB Bass, and thanks once again. Fish Bum Outfitters, Carrot Sticks Rods, Southern Yankee Baits, War Dog Lures, Northern Michigan Outfitters, Hooked on Canadian Angling, my wife, my son, my tournament partner Jason. With this episode, I want to thank again Mr. Rick Green for his invitation. Can't wait to get on the water with you tomorrow, Rick. Get out there and make the most of it, folks. Set that hook. Keep those lines tight.